Why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to call the meeting to order, and if everyone would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't hear anyone else. Okay. Irene, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Bagby.
Present.
Councilmember Brigham.
Here.
Councilmember Cruz.
Here.
Vice Mayor Turner.
Here.
And Mayor Walter.
Here.
Thank you.
And let the records reflect our student liaison, Jennifer, is here. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Conflict of interest to declare, anyone? Okay. Agenda review, any changes or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I sent an email this morning requesting the possibility of discussion prior to nominations and voting.
Absolutely, and I responded to you, Councilmember Cruz, with yes, of course. We'll have discussion.
Okay,
Thank you. Any other changes or deletions to the agenda?
Mayor, staff doesn't have any changes or recommended changes or additions or deletions to the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, next is public comment. Anyone wishing to address the City Council on items that do not appear on tonight's agenda may do so. Kindly raise your hand in the waiting room or wherever else you are, if you have any public comments to make. Irene, is there anybody wishing to address the City Council?
Yes, Mayor, we have two hands raised. So I will begin with Diego Fernandez Pages.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. So we can make a comment on an item on the agenda as well?
On items that are not on tonight's agenda.
Okay. So I have a comment on an item that is, so
Okay.
I'll wait. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Next, we have Christina Duarte.
Okay, Christina?
Good evening, council members and community of Cloverdale. This is Christina Lepa Duarte, and I wanted to comment and really emphasize the importance of right now. We're in very hard times, the beginning of extra hard times with the holidays approaching. And I can't but help and emphasize the importance of us as a community as a whole, organizations, individuals, businesses, coming together and truly supporting one another. I really was so happy to see the joy that was spread by the Chamber of Commerce for the Christmas parade with Santa. And it's things like that that's wonderful. I also wanted to discuss about, the importance of getting involved. This is the end of the year, 2020, and 2021, we're gonna have some difficult changes. I will be interviewed for the opening position of the school board coming this Tuesday. And so I wanna take this opportunity to also invite our community to please be involved with the school board just as they are with the city council, because at the end of the day, we are one and we need to work together. So thank you so much. And I look forward to this meeting today.
Thank you, Christina. Irene, anyone else?
I have a couple more hands.
Okay.
I have Esther Lemus.
Esther, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes?
Hi, actually, I'm here to comment on an item that is on the agenda, item 11. So I will defer my comments until then. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Okay. Looks like that was it, Mayor, for the
Okay.
public comment period.
Very good. Thank you, Irene. Okay, if there's no further public comments, let's go ahead and move on to the student liaison report. And Jennifer, are you with us?
I am.
So what's happening over at the high school, Jennifer?
I'm gonna turn off my video so you guys can hear me better.
Okay.
Regards to all council members, finals week is coming up next week for CHS students, and this schedule has been adjusted accordingly. Every week there is a Wellness Wednesday with Team Success, which I have not personally attended, but I have heard from peers that they talk about emotions, whether positive or negative. But emotions are not necessarily negative because they can help you in certain situations. As you can infer from that, Team Success helps you understand your emotions and how to deal with them. There will be a Spirit Week that's Christmas themed in Finals Week, where we students dress up accordingly to the day. Students can take photos of themselves and send them to the school's Instagram called chs.eagles. Additionally, there has been this presentation in different classes about substance usage presented by Flash Walls for CHS students. Moreover, all sports are conditioning as of now: football, soccer, volleyball, and others. There are also college workshops for seniors and Zoom classes to help them sign up for college. And that'll be all.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, if there's no further student liaison report, I'm going to bring it back to the agenda, and we'll do the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar will be considered together by one action of the council, unless any council member or member of the public requests that an item be removed and discussed separately. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent calendar and discuss it separately? Irene, do we have any hands?
No hands are raised at this time.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion on the consent calendar, please?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Who was a second? Okay,
Melanie.
Councilmember Bagby seconded. Could we have a roll call, Irene?
Yes, Councilmember Cruz,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Turner,
Aye.
Councilmember Bagby,
Aye.
Councilmember Brigham,
Aye.
and Mayor Walter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Irene, I believe the next item is yours. It's a resolution certifying the election results from November the 3rd, 2020. So you have a report for us?
Thank you, Mayor.
Item number 8 was approved under the consent agenda.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, my bad. Next is the oath of office for our newly elected council member and Councilmember Bagby. So Irene, I know this one is yours. So if you would, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see. So we will start with Mr. Lands.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Irene.
Good evening, Todd. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so to welcome you in officially, I will conduct the oath of office. I know there's a delay for some of our listeners by a few seconds, so I apologize. So if you want to raise your right hand and then repeat after me. So I state your
Paul
name.
Lands,
Do solemnly affirm.
solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. So if you have the oath in front of you, you can sign it and then show us. Otherwise, we'll make an appointment to do so. Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Land. You have
Thank you,
now been
Irene.
sworn in.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for your patience. Miss Bagby. Okay.
Melanie can say it by heart.
Raise your right hand. And then I state your name.
I, Melanie Bagby,
Do solemnly affirm that I will support
do solemnly affirm that I will support
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Melanie. You have now been sworn into office once again. And wasn't sure, did you have that certificate in front of you? Or I will see you later this week. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
That went a lot more smoothly than 4 years ago, so thank you.
Well, Irene, thank you. And I'd just like to take the opportunity to welcome our new council member, Todd Lands. And of course, Melanie, as always, to welcome you back onto the city council. So thank you. Council members, I'm not sure if you'd like to chime in and say a few words of welcome and congratulations before we move on to the sad part of the agenda.
I do have a comment. I am excited and I want to welcome our new council member with whom I also work in the school city subcommittee. And today I really applaud that his daughter Summer, whom I would like to see behind you or next to you, is our student liaison. It is very significant to have father and daughter in council. This is an example of commitment and leadership in Cloverdale, and I congratulate both of you and foresee future projects together. You have a great young woman in your hands, Todd. Thank you very much for sharing her with us too.
Thank you so much, Marta. I really appreciate those kind words. I've moved the camera so you can see she is behind me watching.
Yes.
And I really look forward to the opportunity to being able to work with her and work with all of you.
And congratulations to Melanie too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment. Congratulations to you both. I know campaigns are a wild ride and absolutely exhausting, and these are the fruits, and welcome. And I look forward to working with both of you tremendously.
I also would like to speak up. Congratulations to Todd and Melanie. I'm sure you're both going to be great in doing what needs to be done for our community. It's going to be a kind of a rough next couple of years for you both. And I'm just hoping to get the community behind you, to put aside all of the kind of bullshit and to just work together to make the community get more involved. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And this is the sad part of the council meeting when we have to say goodbye to you. You have served this city council. You were first elected in 1998. I looked it up on the registrar's office. And so you've been sitting and being involved with the city of Cloverdale for a long time. With that being said, I've asked David Kelly to read a proclamation that we've done on your behalf. And there will be the retirement plaque you will be receiving shortly as soon as it's delivered. But David, would you please?
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize Councilmember Brigham for her service. I'd like to read a proclamation acknowledging Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham's service and her valuable contributions to the city of Cloverdale and the city council. Whereas Mary Ann Brigham and her desire to positively contribute to the Cloverdale community successfully campaigned and was elected to the Cloverdale City Council. And the proclamation reads November 2008, but it sounds like it needs to read November 1998.
Correct.
And was reelected in November 2012. Whereas Councilmember Brigham, Mary Ann Brigham, was appointed vice mayor of the city by her colleagues on December 10th, 2014. And whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham was appointed mayor of the city by her colleagues on December 9th, 2015, which she served through December 13th, 2016. And whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham was reelected to the city council in November 2016, and whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham devoted countless hours representing the city on multiple subcommittees, Sonoma Clean Power, and as a liaison to the Cloverdale Chamber of Commerce, the Cloverdale Rancheria Tribal Council, the Cloverdale Regional Library Advisory Board, and the City of Cloverdale Planning Commission. And whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham was instrumental in multiple city projects, including the Highway 101 bypass, the Senior Center, River Park, Clark Street Park, the Cloverdale Performing Arts Center, and many more. And whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham, along with her fellow council members, provided valuable guidance in the development of many important and vital projects in the city of Cloverdale we see today. And whereas Councilmember Mary Ann Brigham dedicated her energies and efforts during her tenure on the city council to continue helping build a brighter future for Cloverdale. And therefore, be it proclaimed that her city council colleagues and city staff members thanks Mary Ann Brigham for many accomplishments and wish her much success in her future endeavors. And we know she's going to continue to be very involved in the city as a dedicated member of the Cloverdale community. So ordered, Mayor Gus Walter. And I want to say thank you, Mary Ann. It's been a real pleasure serving you as a council member, as a mayor, as a vice mayor. And I've really enjoyed working with you. And I know you will continue service to our community. And I look forward to continuing having the opportunity to collaborate with you in your service. So thank you.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. It's been an interesting run. It's been wonderful. It's been horrible. It's been frustrating, it's been enlightening, it's been all of those things. But I really would like to first off thank staff, because I come in there sometimes with some pretty off the wall ideas, and you guys have kept me out of trouble, but you've also really, really helped me accomplish some things for the city that I thought were really important. Again, I would like to say good luck and Godspeed to Todd and Melanie both, because I know it's going to be kind of rough the next couple of years, but I'm confident that both of you will do a really good job and represent Cloverdale in a really good light. I could go on and thank people who have helped me through these last almost 20 years. But instead, I would like to say, I'd like to see the community itself sort of step up and volunteer. Get a hold of Melanie Hall at the Senior Center and sign up for volunteering for helping with food distribution or anything at the Senior Center. There's so many groups that really need volunteers. Katie at the Citrus Fair, the Resilient Cloverdale. I don't think a lot of people even know what that is at this point, but we really need people to take those CERT exams online so that they can help us. So please get involved, come to meetings, give your opinion, but mostly just give your help. Without the community being involved, we will not have a community. So I would really like to stress that. And I just want to thank everybody, but particularly staff. I really appreciate how you guys have helped me over the years and historically. So thanks again.
Well, Mary Ann, thank you. And I, as the chair, I'm going to go first if my fellow council members don't mind. Mary Ann, you know, I joined you on the council in the year 2000. And at the time, it was kind of like oil and water, I think. There was a lot of things we did not see eye to eye on. But over the years, you've educated me and you've shown me the light. And it's been a pleasure working with you. Your heart has always been into the community. And you've always jumped in and just called the shots the way they were. And it's been an honor and a privilege. And I know you and I are personally going through some issues right now. And I know I will be calling on you for some advice over the next months. So thank you, Mary Ann. Council members, words of departure for Councilmember Brigham.
I would like to say that it is not words of departure, because we're going to continue working in Resilient Cloverdale. And hopefully once we come back to the Cloverdale Performing Arts. So I want to say thank you, Mary Ann, for coaching me and for having open and candid conversations about the town and about leadership. And I look forward to continue to work with you in all of these volunteer efforts.
Thank you, Councilmember Cruz.
If I may.
Jason, yeah, please.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know we'll continue to work together, but I just wanted to reflect fondly on my introduction to working with the city was as an alternate planning commissioner. And I'll never forget standing before you at the city council meeting while you were mayor, accepting that appointment and just really learning a lot from you. I think one of the first things I learned is you are right to the point and do not mince your words. And I appreciated that tremendously. I could go on and on about just the different way you look at things, the more problem solving and direct to the chase rather than political point of view. And I've just always appreciated about you and hope that I can reflect some of that in my own principles as a council member. So I wish you all the best, but no, this is only for now, and we'll be in talk soon. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would just add, thank you for your service. I mean, decisions are made by those who show up and those who do the difficult task of running for office. And we just, thank you for your years of service and guiding Cloverdale through, good times and bad. We just really appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Bagby. Marianne, if there's nothing else, we're going to go ahead and move to the next item. You are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting.
Mayor, I do have one hand raised in the public comments, or a couple, excuse me.
Thank you.
Of course, start with Melanie Hall.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to add to what everybody else has said about Marianne Brigham that, I so admire and appreciate all of her advocacy for the senior center. She not only is participated in many ways for all the programs that we have and getting it out to the public. She also has been the liaison from the city council to the senior center this past several months. And her input is very valued. I will echo what Marta said. She has very candid conversations that not only do I enjoy how she cuts to the chase, she definitely makes me laugh many times with just how she lays it on the line. So, Marianne, I know that this is just a passage in time that you'll be on to other things, and please, continue your support and our ongoing relationship at the Senior Center, because you are very valued. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Christina Lepe Duarte.
I also wanted to echo Marianne. I wanted to personally thank you. Thank you for being a woman of action, of strength, of courage, and a wonderful role model to many of us. You have truly inspired me. And in my canvas of life, you have a big part in that. And I hope that I can count on you for mentorship and guidance, because you truly are a gem to Cloverdale and anybody that comes into contact with you. Thank you for being a straight shooter, being respectful, and the most sincere words that I can say to you is thank you so much for your service.
Well, I want to thank everybody for their kind words, and I'm going to leave it at this. Remember what Elvis said, don't be cruel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marianne.
We have one more. We have Lisa Carreño on the line.
I'm sorry, Irene, who?
Lisa
Okay.
Carreño.
Thank you. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Lisa Carreño. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of the Wine Country, and delighted to join you all this evening. First, congratulations to the new council members, and best wishes, and know that United Way stands with you all in the work that you're doing in Cloverdale, and the work ahead, which really will be something as we move through the economic challenges in the North County and the need up there among so many who live in your community. And I want to take a moment to say thank you first to Councilmember Brigham, who's leaving, and for your leadership. I was with 10,000 Degrees Sonoma County for several years, and the work that we did up in Cloverdale with students and continue to do up in Cloverdale with students is so critical to the well-being and the future of your community. Thanks for all the leadership and support that you've provided within the city for the work that United Way was doing, particularly at the high school. And lastly, I want to give a personal shout out to Martha Cruz, to say a special personal thank you on behalf of United Way of the Wine Country for the work that you've been doing to connect the community, the rural community, the Latino community, and others who are struggling to make ends meet through the COVID crisis to help get them to the resources that we and other community organizations are trying to provide up there. So just a personal muchas gracias for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Irene, is there anyone else?
No other hands are raised, Mayor.
Okay. So once again, Mary Ann, thank you. And we'll be talking soon, I'm sure. Okay, next item, item number 11 is the reorganization of the council. And Irene, did you have something you wanted to say before I move forward with this item?
Yes, Mayor, just have a quick report out. Let's see. So yes, the item before you tonight is the selection of mayor and vice mayor for a one-year term ending December 2021 by a majority of the city council. The primary role of the mayor is to run council meetings, to preside and speak for the city council at ceremonial events, and to sign documents on behalf of the council. And that's just a small role. The role of mayor also has the privilege of sitting on mayor-only positions within select regional boards and committees. And then just a quick note, based on the current rotation within the bylaws in this coming year, 2021, the city of Cloverdale will become the chair city for the Mayors and Council Members Association of Sonoma County. The chair city and its mayor will lead the 2021 Mayors and Council Members City Selection Board meetings and general membership meetings. And then, of course, in most instances, the absence of the mayor, the vice mayor shall serve. Through separate nominations, the city council shall choose one of its members to serve as mayor and one as vice mayor. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Irene. Before we get started, I would just like to say that it's come to my attention that from a council member that I supposedly already indicated that Vice Mayor Turner was going to become mayor. And I have to tell you that's absolutely false. I would never say that. I may have said that traditionally it's the vice mayor, but to come out and say that a council member was appointed as mayor or vice mayor just did not happen. We received a correspondence today indicating that the selection, I guess, of vice mayor has already been determined. That has not happened either. So with that being said, I am going to open up the process of selecting a mayor, and I would just like folks to discuss it. So Councilmember Bagby, would you like to start us off, or?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I guess I'd start off with, I'd move that we consider items 11.1 and 11.2 as one item. I feel that given the pandemic and the recent fires and the threats of PSPSs now coming into even December, it's more important than ever to give special consideration to the availability and experience of both the mayor and the vice mayor. As we so often, as you and I did last year, work together very closely. And we need those two roles and individuals who can complement each other and cover for each other during emergencies. In addition to that, there were the comments that were made by you, even if they were inadvertently, by the time we play the game of telephone across Sonoma County, what comes back is that the decision is not being made in a transparent manner. And as you've often pointed it out, and which I don't often agree with you, but you've repeatedly pointed out that perception is often reality. But I think that in this case, when all eyes are watching, I think it's more important than ever to especially to get this legislative year off to a good start, off on the right foot, in relationships among council members in good working order, so that we can start to build a sense of a collegiality and trust amongst this council. So all matters that are not required to be in closed session should be discussed and debated in this transparent manner. And I think it's more important than ever that we don't have a council that harbors ill will or, perceived offenses, and so that we can work together to set policy direction of this community. It's more important than ever that we don't go off on our own, favorite issues and work independently and then end up surprising our colleagues. We need to have relationships so that we can come to an open meeting like this and discuss things out in the open. So for that reason, that's why I'm moving that we consider these 11 point. I know we often vote on one item or vote on the mayor and then vote on the vice mayor. I think we should do it together as one item so that we can have an open and honest and transparent discussion. I also hope that we'll take this time to open it up for public comment so that we can, hear from folks who want to add to the discussion. Because again, more than ever in these changing times, it's important to hear from various voices and to hear from the public on this as to who they would like to see lead the council as well.
Sure, and I don't have a problem with that. I assume that there's nothing in the bylaws that says that we can't consider them both with one action. I would like to get the input from my fellow council members if that's acceptable to them. I would like to say that you're absolutely right. We need strong leadership this year. With everything that's happened over the past 12 months and continues to happen, we need two strong individuals in the role of leadership in the city of Cloverdale. And that's all I'm going to say at this point. But council members, how do you feel about selecting the mayor and vice mayor together? Councilmember Cruz, would you like to start us off?
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. And I also would like to read a short comment that I wrote today to share with all of you.
Okay.
I was elected as a council member for Cloverdale in 2018. Since then, I have taken on numerous state, regional, and local roles for the city. I have proven leadership skills and have been an active participant in local community efforts. I have been a voice for the unrepresented. I take pride in long-lasting relationships, and I celebrate to have worked with Marianne, with you, Gus, with Melanie and Jason. And as a council, now with a new member, we must be a family that is able to come together regardless of differences. The period of our COVID lives is demanding, and it requires that we are a collaborative team, supporting one another and sharing a vision for a strong Cloverdale. And this is why I would like to request that we reflect precisely on your words, Mayor Walter and Councilmember Bagby, on Cloverdale's strong tradition of rotating roles of the mayor and vice mayor amongst council members. And today I ask for you to take into account our strength as a team, to review and respect each other's efforts and demonstrated engagement during our tenure in council. And as we nominate and select two of us as vice mayor and mayor of Cloverdale. Thank you.
Okay, so it's a yes. We can do them both together. Councilmember Turner, please.
Yeah, as long as the bylaws say it's cool. I have not heard anything that sounds egregious. I think it's a very united approach and sends a very strong message. I'm absolutely okay with this.
Okay. And Councilmember Lands? I know
nothing I've heard so far is out of the ordinary for me, so I think that's totally fine. And I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say.
Okay. This will be the first time that we've opened the process of selecting our mayor and vice mayor to the public for comment. And I do not have a problem doing that. I encourage my fellow council members to please remember that this is not a popularity contest. It's who's qualified. These are some difficult times ahead of us. We need cohesive representation throughout the county. Our 9 sister cities in Sonoma County are talking more and more about regional approach to issues that are facing us. So it's not a popularity contest, it's who's the most qualified. Irene, with that being said, I know there was a few individuals that wanted to make a comment. So if their hands are still raised, could you please call on them?
Well, point of order, Mr. Mayor, there is a
Yes.
motion on the floor.
I'm sorry?
There is a motion on the floor to consider the items together.
Okay. Let's go ahead and so move the motion. And Irene, could we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. Vice Mayor Turner,
Aye.
Councilmember Bagby,
Aye.
Councilmember Lands,
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz,
Aye.
and Mayor Walter.
Aye. Now can we open it for public comment, please?
Yes. So let's see here. We will start with Mr. Lemus.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Walter and council members. I'm Esther Lemus. I'm the past vice mayor and current council member in Windsor. And I'm calling in or zooming in to urge your council to consider Marta Cruz for a leadership position on your council. I heard your comments about the need for strong leadership, and I believe Marta has the qualifications to lead the town in either the vice mayor or the mayor role. I would note that I have personally worked with her out in the community on various projects. I do know that she has been involved with water education for Latino leaders. She's been involved with James Gore's, Supervisor James Gore's COVID-19 work group addressing the Latino community, which, as we all know, has received has had a disparate impact in terms of COVID-19 cases. I know that she was involved during the Kincaid fire, providing and making sure that that vulnerable communities had resources there in Cloverdale, working specifically with Zeke Guzman, amongst many others. She has served on numerous community panels throughout Sonoma County, benefiting residents throughout Sonoma County, including Cloverdale. I know that she currently works with a delivery of food to vulnerable members of your community. She works very hard for your residents and really does deserve a leadership role. She does have the required experience, the leadership capacity. She has established relationships with regional stakeholders, both elected officials, nonprofit and community leaders. She has those relationships, which is an important part of leadership and an important part of representing Cloverdale in an effective manner. I believe she has proven herself, and I also do believe that that all council bodies, whether it be Cloverdale or Windsor or Santa Rosa, I believe that in the interest of fairness as well, that all council members do deserve an opportunity at a leadership position. And I believe that it's Marta's turn to have that opportunity. I would note that several brand new council members have already been appointed to vice mayorships in Santa Rosa, in Hillsburg, in Roderick Park, and Marta's already been serving. She was elected in 2018. She has a proven experience, and I strongly urge you to consider her for either mayor or vice mayor. Thank you.
Esther, thank you. Irene?
Next, we have someone under daily acts.
Under what?
Daily acts.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity for public comment. My name is Carrie Fugit. I don't always know how it shows up when I log in, but I do work for Daily Acts Organization, a sustainability education nonprofit based in Sonoma County. And I want to share my support also for Councilmember Cruz to be selected as the next mayor of Cloverdale. I've had the great pleasure of seeing Councilmember Cruz's leadership in action, initially meeting her as part of our garden kit giveaway program just mentioned. which provided complete garden kits for the Latino community across the entire county as a way to build food security. And Councilmember Cruz was our most enthusiastic and dedicated partner of the entire county for this program, working diligently to find the additional funding, partners, and helping us design the communication outreach methods that made it possible to distribute 300 garden kits in Cloverdale. Without her leadership, we absolutely could not have provided the Latino Cloverdale community with these resources. Without her, it just simply would not have happened. So I also want to thank her for her work there. I also work closely with Councilmember Cruz in our Leadership Institute program, where her passion and dedication to giving back to her community could not be more clear. Her passion for water and waste management, as well as her work on the Commission on the Status of Women, are just a few examples of the many, many ways she plugs in to give back. And if given the opportunity to step into the role of mayor tonight, I genuinely believe she would work tirelessly, collaboratively, and with respect to provide for the needs of the community, while really ensuring that the most vulnerable don't slip through the cracks. I hear the need for strong leadership and a regional approach, and I really believe that Councilmember Cruz has the skills, relationships, and track record to be the right pick for this position. And thank you so much for your consideration and opportunity for public comment tonight.
Thank you. Irene, is there anyone else?
Yes, next we have Bernice Espinoza.
Good evening, my name is Bernice Espinoza. I am an attorney here in town. I served as an immigration criminal law attorney at the Public Defenders for 4.5 years, and I'm currently an attorney with Vidas Immigration. I'm speaking to support Marta to be mayor. Since coming to Sonoma County, I needed the leadership and the mentorship of a strong Latina, and that's what I received under Marta. I have learned from her guidance and from her help in many ways in order how to really service the different community members, not just Latinx, but also all immigrants, and also making sure that there's language access. Specifically, I've been in charge of coordinating a group of people who have served people during the Kincaid fires and the Tubbs fires. And if it were not for Marta, there was no communication that we were having with Cloverdale at that time. We made sure that people had communication with the Citrus Fair, that the power outages, people were getting services. And every single time that I'm around her, she makes sure to remember, and that everyone in the room remembers, Cloverdale is important. Cloverdale does have constituents that need services and is always advocating for their behalf. And lastly, I was also a co-chair for the Sonoma County Women's Suffrage Project, and which Marta was very inspirational and institutional in helping us make sure that we bring the issues of diversity inclusion to conversations regarding political engagement. Oftentimes the language of qualifications or experience are really just masked language to cover the fact that people have institutionally not been allowed to have the opportunities to be in office. Marta has been a leader, not just here in Sonoma County, but internationally. And known not only for her work here, but also in Puerto Rico and Cuba and a bunch of other places. So for those reasons, I would strongly suggest that we please support Marta. And also, it's not a popularity contest, of course, but when there's this many people who want her in office, I think that should speak strongly. Thank you, and I render the rest of my time.
Thank you, Bernice. Irene?
Next, we have Miguel Angel Luna.
Miguel, please.
Good evening, residents of Cloverdale. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members new and outgoing, for your service, particularly in these times. As I mentioned, my name is Miguel Luna. I'm a founding board member of Water Education for Latino Leaders, a statewide nonprofit that was established almost 10 years ago to educate local Latino elected officials, particularly on water policy, to promote the things that we need at such a local level, which is healthy communities, a robust economy, and particularly a resilient environment for all California. I've had the pleasure, and I want to echo the previous speakers on their public comment, to know Marta, Councilmember Marta, and particularly under a program, the Untapped Fellowship Program, where she participated over 6 months, learning, augmenting leadership skills. But I have to say that we learned more from her than I think she learned from us. When we're talking about qualifications, we believe that Marta brought so much of Cloverdale to a statewide conversation about the needs of inclusion in community and serving those underserved and under-resourced. For these reasons, I'd like to express my support for Councilmember Marta Cruz in a leadership role, whether that be mayor or vice mayor. And I cede the rest of my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Irene?
Next we have Gloria Owen.
Gloria?
Gloria, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I too would like to voice my support for Marta Cruz. I know Marta through my son, who worked with her for many years in the county of Santa Barbara. He worked for 2 very powerful nonprofits who served for social injustice and for the underserved in the county of Santa Barbara. I'm not going to tell you about her qualifications because all you really have to do is read her resume to be completely and utterly overwhelmed about her contribution to society. Coming from a woman needing public assistance to rising up to an amazing contributor to our local community and the community in Southern California that she served. Personally, I would like to say that our community needs to reflect, or at least our leadership in community needs to reflect our community, the population of our community. And you all know that Sonoma County and Cloverdale need to be represented more through the Hispanic community. Just look at our president-elect, what he's doing. I think our community needs to do the same. I have to, and this may sound racist, I have to admit that I am a privileged white person who believes that we do not treat our citizens fairly, the underrepresented people of our society. I live in Del Webb, and the community here believes that our leadership in Cloverdale believes in, well, that's the way we've always done it. That's pervasive in our community, and I would like to see Marta in a leadership role. She's strong, she's capable, she has a heart as big as all outdoors, and I would like to express my support for her in a leadership role in Cloverdale. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria.
Next we have Diego Fernandez Pages.
And how many more hands do you show raised?
Let's see. Looks like 11 more.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. My name is Diego Fernandez Pajes, and I work for the County of Sonoma as an economic researcher and closely with Councilmember Marta Cruz. In 2018, 146 years after its incorporation, Cloverdale finally elected its first woman of color to city council. Councilmember Cruz received the most votes in that election, running on a platform of unity and inclusion that embodies her ethic in and out of the council chamber. I'm here to talk about why that ethic is important and makes her supremely qualified to represent her city in a leadership role in the city council. Councilmember Cruz secured her victory because she stands for the strength of community. She talked to everyone, small business owners and farm workers, frequent and first-time voters, neighbors of all backgrounds and creeds. She brought her knowledge from the classroom and from a lifetime of engaging her communities to the campaign, knowing that she could serve better from the city council, and serve she has. She proactively invested time and energy in public health initiatives even before the pandemic arrived on these shores. She prioritized outreach to the Latinx community, unifying the city. She champions education as a mother and a teacher who knows the difference it makes for the well-being of a community. I mean, you've heard the energy she brings to these efforts from others who have spoken and sounds like have yet to speak. Councilmember Cruz is a representative of not only the more than 2,100 people who voted for her, but of the entire city of Cloverdale. She's active across the state, spearheading a collaborative effort that brings state and county resources back to the people of Cloverdale. I moved to Sonoma County to work for the Economic Development Board in the year she was elected. I met Marta and quickly understood the power of her guidance. Of all the officials with whom I interacted in that year in an attempt to produce an accurate and useful picture of the cities and towns of Sonoma County, Marta was the most involved and the most committed to ensuring that Cloverdale was well represented. She saw an opportunity to improve the city's access to data and statistics to better equip Cloverdale to solve its most persistent problems. Councilmember Cruz's powerful representation of Cloverdale doesn't stop there. She serves on boards that cover issues ranging from human rights to water access. She works closely with the Latinx community of Sonoma County and California to ensure equity for all. She's a leader in activist circles and has assiduously connected Cloverdale and its residents to the bounty of Sonoma County's resources through mutual aid networks she has striven to build. After my year working for the Sonoma County Economic Development Board, I pursued a master's in public policy at the University of Cambridge. There, I, like so many others, depended on Marta's experience and expertise to guide me through complex questions of policy. She is Cloverdale's best resource. She is wise, powerful, and she loves the community like few I've encountered. It is high time that this is recognized on Cloverdale City Council and that she is elected to a position of leadership within the council. Thank you for your time. I yield the rest of it.
Thank you, Diego.
Next, we have Shirley Davis.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I have experience in a few of the meetings about how this whole process works. Amongst the city council, they decide who's going to be mayor and vice mayor, whatever. But what I'm looking at is the people on the city council who do the most work, that sit on a major committees, and not only in here in the town, but in outside of our town in the county. And for that reason, I am wanting to promote that Melanie Bagby be the mayor and Marta Cruz be the vice mayor. And unfortunately, Jason, I think, because you have a full-time job, I'm not sure your commitment is really there enough to represent us as well. So that's my input.
Thank you, Shirley.
Next, we have Melanie Hall.
I would like to echo what Melanie Bagby had to say about it being very important after this very, very tough year of 2020 and all the challenges that we've been facing, that going into 2021, we have very experienced, knowledgeable, involved council members that will be mayor and vice mayor. I am putting my support behind Melanie Bagby and Marta Cruz for those two positions. And I can attest to the involvement that I have had for our community with both of them. Marta Cruz has, on a weekly basis, been there to deliver meals to needy families. We're in constant contact, or else she's letting me know about a soil distribution so that people can have a small little herb garden or little garden in their home or backyard. The list goes on with what both of them have advocated for our community and supported and been out there doing the hard work. I feel very fortunate to work with them time and time again. Resilient Cloverdale Committee has had a lot of input from Marta Cruz. Melanie Bagby has proven time and time again about our, being sure that we are taking good care of our resources and trying to get, a better Cloverdale community. So I will just put my 2 cents in here and say that I support Melanie Bagby and Marta Cruz as vice mayor and mayor.
Thank you, Mel. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Melanie.
Next, we have Angela Cordova.
Hi, my name's Angela Cordova, and I just wanted to say that I know Marta Cruz has tried to become a leader in our community, but it's unfortunate when she is very disrespectful to her constituents. She may do a lot with outside leaders outside of our community, but as far as our community goes, she is not transparent, along with Melanie. Neither one of them are transparent. If you don't agree with them, they don't have discussion for you. They are against the hard discussions. Obviously, that's going to come with any community. And I think that community involvement is a lot more than just, baskets of soil or food distribution. There's a lot of things that go into a community, especially a leadership role. And I strongly believe that Marta Cruz does not hold those leadership skills at all. Melanie Bagby is tailing right beside her. Neither one of them can deal with any of the hard discussions. Neither one of them are respectful to their community unless you agree with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Eileen?
Next, we have Lisa Morash.
Hi, yes, this is Alyssa Morash with the Cloverdale Historical Society, and just want to say thank you to all of you who have had all these Zoom meetings and to the whole City Council, and I congratulate all the new members. It's good to hear this discussion because before we started, I was wondering like how are these decisions made? And of course, the whole question of transparency comes up, and I think it's being very transparent to have this kind of discussion, so I congratulate you. As you know, the Cloverdale Historical Society is a nonprofit. We have been closed since March. We are always, in a situation where we're needing funding and volunteers and docents and community support. And we've always had that from the City Council, particularly from Gus Walter. What I wanted to talk about tonight was the support to Melanie and to Marta in whatever way you think is best to lead the city in this next period. And I just want to share a few things. I know Melanie pretty well, but I know Marta from the Historical Society much better. And she worked with us on a film that we're making called Hear Our Voices. It is a story of 4 Latino farm workers who came here in the 40s and the 50s, and it's their story about what happened to them and how they are still here, all of them actually. And we needed a translator, but we needed more than a translator. We needed someone who could really understand the context of what they were saying and for us to be able to go back and get clarification. And they all told us that, no one has ever asked them for that story. So we're in the middle of making the film, and Marta has helped us with translations. And if we get enough funding, we will finish it. And I just want to acknowledge her and commend her for her help on that. She's also worked with us on the binational Latino Independence Day, which has been going on for several years now. Rich Cowart, who has since passed away, was the real steadfast supporter of that. But Marta stepped in as well and really helped to combine the communities, I would say, so that it's not us and them or them and us. It's really, she's a real collaborator. And I don't think we've ever felt uncomfortable telling Marta some of the things we're thinking about, that maybe we don't speak the languages or we don't have the right qualifications to get the history of the people we're interested in. And Marta's always been very helpful with that, and I hope she'll continue to be. She's also came to us, I think she's the head of your recycling committee, and she's been trying to get us to do the Trash and Fashion show, which we will probably do at some point, maybe as soon as COVID is over with. And most importantly too, is that she helped initiate Cesar Chavez Day. March 29th, for the last 2 years. And if you were there as I was to see the young kids hear people talk about who Cesar Chavez was and what he accomplished, it's very touching and poignant. And it was something that everybody could relate to. When I lived back east, way before I came to Cloverdale, I had heard of Cesar Chavez. And he was a hero to me then, an American hero, and he's an American hero now. And I really thank Marta a lot for helping to make a Cesar Chavez Day here in Cloverdale. I know there are many people on the council. I think probably everybody has a leadership possibility and role and guidance. I know Jason does. I'm sure Todd will once he gets his land legs. But I think for going forward now for the next year, knowing what we're going to go through and how tough it's going to be, I think Melanie and Marta are wonderful choices for us. Actually, I think we're very privileged to have it. So thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Next, we have Cristina Duarte.
Good evening, council members. As you know, my name is Cristina Lepe Duarte. I'm an active community advocate here in Cloverdale. I'm a parent, and I've lived in Cloverdale for the past 16 years. I'm here to talk about something that's very important, and that is trust in our community, leadership, and action. Words are beautiful, but it's action that counts. And so with that said, another important aspect of leadership is being able to truly listen to your constituents and come to a compromise, find solutions. And so with that being said, I'm gonna be very honest. I have not always seen eye to eye on issues with Marta Cruz, but I respectfully have mentioned that and have come forward to council and advocated for things that are very important. However, with that being said, I've also seen her in action, helping, creating partnerships, the importance of relationships, as many members have already mentioned. And that truly is an asset right now at all times in leadership. And Cloverdale does need that representation. We have got to have representation, not only within ourselves, but the other parts of the county. And Martha's relationships with our leaders in other parts of the county is crucial. And so I'm here endorsing support for Martha for leadership, as well as I appreciate Jason's strengths. I do understand, and I want to emphasize that I am aware that he is full-time. However, it's about the quality and being able to truly listen to your community members and find solutions. And so with that being said, I truly want to support Marta Cruz and Jason Turner for leadership position for council. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Okay. Next, we have Donna Romeo.
I'm Donna Romeo. I'm a librarian for Cloverdale Regional Library, and I am here in support of Councilmember Cruz as well. I have been honored to have the opportunity to have worked with her and continue to work with her with Resilient Cloverdale. But she has been instrumental to help bring library services and therefore literacy to the underserved members of the community in Cloverdale. We have done several projects and brought several programs to the community with her leadership. An example would be the Land Paths program. We also provided school supplies. It's her leadership, providing school supplies for students in need. We are right now in the middle of bringing little libraries to underserved places in the community. Councilmember Cruz works tirelessly for the Cloverdale community in so many areas, and I know she is qualified for this leadership opportunity. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Donna.
Next, we have Herman J. Hernandez. Herman or Herman, you should be able to unmute yourself. I have you as HJ on there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good evening, Mayor Walter and council members. My name is Herman J. Hernandez. I'm a Latino community leader. I'm attending this evening council meeting to give support to Martha Cruz to be nominated as a city council mayor or vice mayor. Her resume and hard work to bridge the city of Cloverdale with much increased engagement to the Latino community leaders and others. Her hard work has brought additional support for your constituents in the city of Cloverdale. Martha has been a very strong voice for the city, and I can tell you that she has been extremely inspiring and an honor to work with. I know she will do a great job, and I thank you.
Thank you. Irene?
We have Deborah Rust.
I'm sorry, what was the first name?
Deborah.
Okay, thank you. Deborah, please.
Thank you. My name is Deborah Rust, and I am a resident of Cloverdale for the last 6 years. Before I lived in Cloverdale, I did live in Geyserville for 22 years, so I have some history with the northern part of Sonoma County. I've worked on many boards and with many resource agencies as a background to within the county. But today I'm just speaking for myself, just Deborah, who lives on Hale Street with my husband and our animals. And Marta from day one has just been there more than any other person, more than any other council member for me at the time. And in bringing along with her Miriam Bagby, who came to my home and actually did an open house for my neighbors. Very interesting that I knocked on the door of every neighbor within a 1-block radius and no one showed up, not one person, but the two of them showed up. They showed up, they gave my husband and I a complete history and a complete engagement into the Cloverdale area and what was happening within the area and how we could look forward to being involved and being engaged with the community. I feel that our Latina community within Cloverdale has been underserved. As a, again, privileged white person to speak on this subject, I am excited of the voice that Marta brings to Cloverdale. I'm excited that Marta was not one of the good old boys bringing whatever they bring to the community. This was a fresh voice, an outsider voice. It gave me my own voice, being an outsider moving into the community, a fresh voice. I've read Marta's history, I've read her resume, I have followed her. And when I had a question, she answered my question. She responded to my text, she responded to my telephone calls. She came to my backyard during COVID, all masked and social distancing, to answer my questions about the recent elections. She never said no, never said she didn't have time for me. I appreciate Cloverdale being involved in the greater Sonoma County arena. Living in Geyserville for so many years, Cloverdale was north. It wasn't engaged. It didn't seem involved. It didn't seem a part of where we socialized, where we did, where we went. It didn't seem a part of Sonoma County. It was northern. It was kind of isolated on its own. And in the last few years, what I've noticed is that Cloverdale is so much more a part of the county. Of course, a lot of that came from Performing Arts Center and Friday Night Live, but within the social structure, along with the political structure, I think that Cloverdale is now looked at in a different light. And I believe that Marta Cruz and Miriam Bagby have been a part of making that happen. So I'd like to just throw my support and enthusiasm behind them as leading us. I do believe at this time, heading into the COVID and post-COVID situation we're going to be approaching, the more time and energy that people have to devote to our community will show within itself. And I believe that they're capable of doing that. So my name's Deborah, and thank you for giving me the time.
Deborah, thank you. Irene?
Next, we have Herman G. Hernandez, so HG.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mayor Walter and City Council members. My name is Herman G. Hernandez, and I had the great opportunity of serving on the Sonoma County Board of Education, but I've also worked with a couple of you when I was in Boys and Girls Club up in Cloverdale. I am calling in this evening to put my wholehearted support behind my good friend and colleague and Cloverdale champion, Marta Cruz, for a leadership position in Cloverdale as mayor. And we're just going to stick it to mayor because we're going to shoot for the stars on this one. She has, I'm not going to repeat what everybody said, but I just want to emphasize the fact that what Deborah said, Miss Rust, about putting Cloverdale on the map. Marta has been an advocate. I met her a few years ago, and she is always calling or texting or emailing me personally when there are challenges or issues in the educational realm. When COVID hit, she was the first person I heard from Cloverdale because of lack of Chromebooks and access to internet. And then over the last few months, I just keep hearing updates from her about the work that she's doing with our most vulnerable community. She is working her tail off to not just represent the people who are in the know, but the people who are underserved and are constantly forgotten. She brings them back and she shines a light. And I think it's incredibly important when you're choosing your future leaders of your city to make sure that they're well networked and that they're well connected, because when you're well connected with leaders from outside of your city, you're going to be able to bring important resources like different nonprofits, but also funding to your community. So I will yield the rest of my time, but I'm just calling in to fully support Councilmember Marta Cruz for mayor. Thank you.
Sir. Irene, I believe there's 4 more.
That's correct, Mayor. So next we have Sylvia Lemus.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yes, my name is Sylvia Lemus and I'm a community leader in Sonoma County. And I just wanted to call to support Marta Cruz for mayor in Cloverdale. I just want to say that I've worked with Martha on many different organizations throughout the county, and she really represents Cloverdale in such a positive way. She's always trying to see what type of resources, what kind of help we can bring up to Cloverdale. She's always making sure that Cloverdale's not forgotten and that they all receive the resources, and always trying to see what she can do, who she can speak with to engage more resources for Cloverdale community. And I really think that's really admirable of her. A lot of what my other, the other callers that called said, you know, I agree with what they said about Martha and her experience that she brings. She's very personable. She's always wanting to meet people to see what you're about, to see how, and again, just to see how she can help her community, Cloverdale, and the resources and helping the underserved communities. And I really admire her for that. I really think that she would make a great mayor in Cloverdale. I work with her and I've seen her concern for the vulnerable communities, especially regarding COVID-19. She was a part of Supervisor James Gore's Latinx COVID-19 outreach group. And so that's where I got to meet with her. And she really was really outspoken about trying to get resources to Cloverdale. So I really, really respected that about her, that she really cared about her community. So I really, I want to encourage you to support her nomination and her becoming the mayor for Cloverdale. And thank you very much for this time.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have L. Fabian.
Lauren?
Let's see.
Lauren, we can't hear what you're saying.
Last, I don't know if it's for L. Fabian.
Sorry,
oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, I'm here. This is Leanne Fabian.
Leanne,
and I'm just calling in to voice some personal experience I've had with Jason Ferguson. You can't hear me?
Yes,
Leanne?
we can hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay. Yeah, Jason, yeah. I'm just a little concerned about how many people speaking up seem to be reading off of scripts. People outside of Sonoma County endorsing Marta Cruz, which is not a bad thing. She has a very impressive resume. I'm hearing two things, sorry. And she certainly has done a tremendous and has continued to do a tremendous amount for the Latina community throughout the county. And that's definitely an important thing. Unfortunately, I think we need a little bit more of a balance in the leadership. Jason has also been, he personally reached out to me in a situation that I had in Cloverdale last year, as well as Marta did. Jason listened very openly, was very concerned, as well as Marta. I was just a little concerned about a comment that Marta made back to me, which was, politics is very dirty, Leanne. That hit me wrong. Jason is in a family in the city of Cloverdale and there's the voice of the young people in Cloverdale that needs to be heard, as well as the Latino community, which I've personally helped myself. It's not just coming from people that are on boards. There's people in this community that help each other quite a bit. We just don't go out there and publicize it. Jason is one of those people. He has served very well as vice mayor. He deserves to be mayor. Beyond that, I just think that we need all sides to be heard, to come together to compromise. A little bit more of a balance is great. I believe that he is for all families in Cloverdale, and that's why he gets my endorsement for mayor.
Thank you. Irene?
Yes. Our next speaker is Orby.
Hello, it's Orbelina, and I'm here, like many others, to also support Marta Cruz. I know a lot of people are talking about the different services that she has plugged into and supported, and just all of the things that she has done. But I wanted to talk about something a little more personal, and give you an example of what it is that Marta can accomplish and what she does. I met Marta back in, I think, 2017, and she came to me to help with the Tubbs fire. I was working with Reach for Home at the time, and Marta came and brought all kinds of things to our agency. I was serving Cloverdale as well at that time with homeless services and housing. I'm now working with Sonoma County Housing Authority. And throughout this whole time, Marta has made me feel more part of this community than ever before. My husband's been working in Cloverdale for about 16 years. We've been living here for 3 years now. And Marta didn't only make us feel included and part of a family, part of a community, and feeling like we finally have a voice, but she also did this for our children. Marta is the type of person that will link people together. It doesn't matter the differences that she may have in opinion. She recognizes that, and I respect her for that. I will sometimes be walking down the street with my kids, my husband, and our dog. And we always get a very warm hello from her, and also introductions. So if she's with somebody, she will introduce us, and she makes everybody just feel a little closer, more united and included, important. That's, I think, what we need in Cloverdale. I think that speaks beyond anything else, is the actions that she has put behind all of her efforts, and where her heart truly lies. We know that Marta has what it takes for the leadership of Cloverdale and taking on the role as the mayor. So I really just want to say thank you, Marta, for everything that you do. Thank you for the opportunities that you have put in front of me. And I hope to serve this community a little bit more as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ozzy Jimenez.
Hello, everyone. This is Vice Mayor Jimenez out of the city of Healdsburg. I wanted to connect with you all today to issue support for my colleague and friend Marta Cruz for mayor and or vice mayor. Her commitment to community is unfounded. She has come to Cloverdale, and as a native Sonoma Countyan, I appreciate her willingness to work with everyone. Her commitment to community is there. And she will not disappoint Cloverdale. She advocates for the most vulnerable, those that are working class, those that are our seniors, those that are in vulnerable populations. And she has a collaborative approach. Yes, she might be direct in her beliefs and in her advocacy for those that don't have a voice. And I think that's leadership. And so, as your neighbor in Healdsburg, as your vice mayor in Healdsburg, in support of our neighbors and advocacy for our neighbors from Cloverdale to Santa Rosa to Petaluma, and in this moment, Cloverdale, I urge you to support Marta Cruz for mayor or vice mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Alegria.
Hi, good evening. Muy buenas noches. My name is Alegria de la Cruz, and I'm calling in my capacity as a school board member for Santa Rosa City Schools. I'm calling in support of my friend and my colega Marta Cruz. I think it's so critical for Marta, as the only Latina on the Cloverdale City Council, to play a leadership role and to really bring to light the critical concerns and conditions that she, as a bilingual, bicultural woman, is able to do in her capacity as a representative for all Cloverdale residents, but especially for those who can tend to be invisible and can tend to not have a voice in quite the same way that Marta is able to bring it. So I am really looking forward to Marta's leadership in whatever capacity, but I really hope that you take this opportunity to elevate those voices of people who really need that kind of leadership and who need that kind of representation in this time in our country, in our history, and in this time for you as Cloverdale. So adelante, Marta. Thank you.
Let's see. And next we have Anna.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ana Lugo, and I am a Latinx community leader in Sonoma County. I have served throughout my years in different capacities in the county, also worked in the nonprofit sector, and now do work in the diversity, equity, and belonging realm. I am calling tonight to wholeheartedly support the appointment for Councilmember Cruz to be mayor. I have personally witnessed through the fires, especially the fires last year, just the leadership and commitment that Marta has toward the community of Healdsburg, and the ability she has to represent her community and work for what's best, and really try to break down the physical barriers to that exist within our county, and the siloing to make sure that the community gets their needs met. It was such a pleasure to work with her to make sure that community members were taken care of, and her leadership shines through. And I just really want to uplift and make sure that you understand the ways in which that truly makes a difference in our county as we work across the geographic areas of this county. So I just want to say you have a great opportunity to uplift the voices of a Latina, and also the voices of the people in your community that have been disproportionately affected by systems of oppression and racism, and to give the space for people to have that representation. And I want to say thank you for your public service. And Marta, I will be excited to see you appointed mayor. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. Irene?
Let's see, we have one more hand, Miss, looks like Jackie Elward.
Good evening, everybody. I am Vice Mayor Elwood out of Roanoke Park. I am here to bring support to Marta Cruz for the position of mayor or vice mayor. Her impact in our community is priceless, not only for Cloverdale representation, but for the whole North Bay region. Representation is the key for success. As a woman of color and a person that reach out to those that are not reached, Marta is really a great example. Marta reached out to me when I had no one to talk to. She showed me, she embraced me, she accepted me the way I was. And today, we see what happened to Roanoke Park. Roanoke Park has elected its first Black woman and Black vice mayor. It would be fantastic if Cloverdale do the same. Why? Because now it is time to bring our BIPOC population in the table, and so the voice to be heard. I will encourage all of you, and I'm very excited to work with the entire Cloverdale leadership team. And it will be an amazing step forward for Cloverdale to elect its first Latina woman. Thank you.
Jackie, thank you, and congratulations on your appointment to the Roanoke Park City Council. And if you ever need any help, please reach out. Be more than happy to help you. Irene, anyone else?
No one else, Mayor. I just wanted to acknowledge that a comment was emailed in and submitted to all of you. I'll put it as the public record from Becky Enos. Just thanking the council for opening up public comment for this item.
Okay, well, thank you. With no more public comment, we're going to go ahead and move forward. And, you know, I'd just like to say that every city council member is a community leader. Councilmember Cruz has apparently showed her true colors by going out into the community and doing the good work that she does. And she did that without the title of mayor or vice mayor. So it's obvious that you don't need the title to be a community leader. I was a little surprised to see so many people coming forward giving support for Councilmember Cruz. And I'm not so sure that the other council members had the opportunity to ask people to come forward and give them their support. Like I said earlier, this is not a popularity contest to me, it's who's the most qualified. I appreciate everything that Councilmember Bagby, everything that Councilmember Cruz does for our community and in the regional arena as well. However, I am going to make a nomination of Councilmember Turner being mayor and Councilmember Bagby being vice mayor. So with that being said, I'll open that up for some comment.
Mr. Mayor, I would move I'm going to nominate Councilmember Cruz for vice mayor.
Okay, any other comments?
Mr. Mayor, I did not call people. to come and make comments. The word spread that there was an issue in Cloverdale, and all these people showed up.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I disagree with your characterization. I certainly didn't make any calls and ask people to come and advocate for me or Marta. When I made the suggestion that we consider this item 11.1 and 11.2 as one item, and that we open it up for public comment, I assumed that there were going to be 2 or 3 people in the audience who were interested in this. I had no idea that this was going to be a countywide interest, but honestly, after hearing it, it's not much of a surprise. All of the folks who did call in are Sonoma County leaders, and they are people who, most of whom I know personally, most of whom I work with on a regional level. So, it's been suggested several times that Cloverdale is an island. That is not true. That is proven not to be true tonight. And really, it never was true, because what we do as far as selecting our leadership, it does matter. The fact is that 30 to 40% of our population in Cloverdale is Latino. If Marta had not been elected, in all likelihood, we would have been sued and been forced to go to district elections. So, we owe her a debt of gratitude for stepping up and representing Cloverdale, so that didn't happen. And I think what you're hearing tonight is the fact that times, they're not changing in Sonoma County, they have changed. And it's well past time that things changed in Cloverdale as well. And that's why I believe that, not just for appearances, but just because she deserves it, and she's a clear countywide regional leader, that's why I am supporting Marta for vice mayor.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment if I can, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please.
That was a very humbling experience for me. I think a lot of people came out and they spoke their truth.
I think we lost you, Jason.
That was a bad time to lose Jason.
Let me see if I can bring it on back. My Wi-Fi has been kind of funny. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll go back to the opening phrase. It was a pretty humbling experience. I think a lot of people came out and spoke their truths, as they should. I heard some feedback, both direct and indirect, that I want to call to the floor. I do have a full-time job. When I don't help Cloverdale, I answer to somebody else. That's the truth. I am a father of 2 kids. They are both under 5. That is true. I will do my absolute best to chair these meetings in a way, if this moves forward, to where people feel equitable. But what I do not want to be at all is a round peg shoved into a square hole. I would like my colleagues to reflect on what I've said, reflect on what the community has said. I am honored to be nominated as your mayor, and I will take the role incredibly seriously, and I will listen to our community. But it does not change truths that were spoken this evening. I work 40 hours a week at least. I am a father of 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Turner. Last year's nominations are still fresh in my mind, in the fiasco that we went through. So I'm glad to see this year it's a little better, and I appreciate that. So there's a motion on the floor for Councilmember Turner to be mayor and Councilmember Bagby to be vice mayor. And I think Councilmember Bagby, you are not accepting that nomination?
That's correct. Not in that configuration.
Okay, so then the other nomination on the floor by Councilmember Bagby is for Councilmember Turner to be mayor and Councilmember Cruz to be vice mayor?
No, I've only nominated, I've only made a motion to nominate Marta for vice mayor.
Okay.
I think that we should have further discussion on this.
Well, I'm going to make the nomination for Councilmember Turner to be mayor and Councilmember Cruz to be vice mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to speak up as well.
You'd like to what? I'm sorry, Todd?
I'd like to speak up on this topic as well.
Please.
I've had the pleasure of working with you guys, some of you 4 years, some of you 8, through the school board and a lot of projects and fundraisers and things that we've done over that time. And I've spent my life being what I perceive as a leader. And the one thing that always sticks in my mind is that there's no I in team. And right now I'm seeing a lot of I's. And we need to look at who is best at leading our entire community as a whole, not just what they've done for one section or in other parts of our county. I don't ever feel that a full-time job should be used against someone. I think that's absolutely wrong to say that because somebody has to work to earn a living, they're not engaged in our community. I work a full-time job. I probably work at least 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I'm sitting here in front of you, and I've worked on the school board for the last 11 years. And to say that's impossible to do or to be engaged is a bunch of crap. You can ask anybody of my 2,200 votes that I got. So to hold that against Jason Turner is completely wrong. I think for our community to come together, we need to have a strong leader that represents everyone. And Jason has proved that over the past year that he can do that as the mayor. When he had to fill in our meetings, he had to fill in the city council meetings. He made contact with everybody he had to that needed it at the times to take the place of the mayor as necessary. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilmember Lands. So with that being said, I think there was a motion on the floor that I made for Councilmember Turner to be mayor and Councilmember Cruz to be vice mayor. Is there a second for that?
Have you, point of order, Mr. Mayor, have you amended your motion?
If I didn't, I'll do that now, and I'll make that new motion. Councilmember Turner.
I don't hear Jose screaming, so I guess it must be okay.
The previous motion died for a lack of a second, so now it's open for now new nominations, new motions.
Okay, so I will do Councilmember Bagby if you're declining the request to be vice mayor, and,
yes.
and I'm truly disappointed in that, but such as it is, I'm going to recommend Councilmember Turner as mayor and Councilmember Cruz as vice mayor.
I will second that, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cruz.
Your mic is off, Martha.
Yes.
Current Vice Mayor Turner.
I abstain.
Councilmember Bagby.
Aye.
Councilmember Lands.
Aye.
And Mayor Walter.
Aye. Well, congratulations, Mayor Turner. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Cruz. I know that you'll guide the city well through the next year. With that being said, I am going to make a request that we strike item number 12 for the certificate of appreciation for my service. I have it in my packet, and that's more than enough. So with that being said, let's move on to communications. Is there anything?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I just want to bring everyone's attention to the kind of the informational memo from Sonoma Clean Power. I kind of had to push for it actually because I'll just kind of summarize it for you, but I would urge all the council members to go back and read that summary. It's basically an executive summary from Executive Director Jeff Cyphers on the possibility of Sonoma Clean Power joining as a JPA, joining a JPA of JPAs. So, you know, once you get your head around that, all that would be Sonoma Clean Power joining with other CCAs from across the state to do power resource allocation. So go ahead and just, and then, but it's not going to come to the council for a vote. I just wanted to make sure, in the interest of transparency, to let the council know what the nature of the decision is, you know, what the implications are, but the vote will be the sole, it's in the sole hands of the board members at Sonoma Clean Power. So, but I just wanted to make sure that you have that well in advance, kind of understand, have a basic understanding of what the issues are going to be, and, you know, whether or not I'm serving on that board or not, whoever the representative is. If you have any, you know, concerns, questions, be sure to, you know, huddle with the board member before that vote is going to happen. And I think that that's going to happen sometime in February. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, you have enough time to kind of, to ask any questions, or, you know, or voice any concerns that you might have.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it on communications. And if there was anything anybody else wants to ask, you know, go right ahead. Well,
you know, I have to apologize. I was not supposed to move past item number 11.
Oops. That's right. You're supposed to hand it over.
That's correct. So,
have it, Gus.
Mayor Turner, I'm turning it over to you. And we right now are at public hearings. So with that being said, I don't know.
We got that out of the way, Jason.
That's right. Well, I guess for what'll be the first time in at least a year, thank you, Councilmember Walter. I am honestly a little bit out of a loss for words. This is very humbling. I am incredibly honored to have become your mayor. And so if I stumble over my words a little bit over the next couple of items, please just understand that we're just in a little bit of uncharted territory for me. So with that being said, item number 13, please, discussion and direction on draft City Council 2021 Subcommittee, Joint Committee, and Regional Board Committee appointments. I believe David typically takes lead on this item. David, if you'd be so kind.
Quite happy to address this item, and congratulations, Mayor Turner. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Cruz. Welcome to your leadership position, and thank you again for your service to Councilmember Walter, former Mayor Walter. The item before you this evening is really a discussion item in regards to your recommendations and appointments to 5 designated council subcommittees and about 17 joint committees and regional boards. What we're asking council tonight is really just to familiarize yourself with the subcommittees as well as the regional board appointments. And included in your packet is a ranking worksheet. What we'd like to do is garner your interest and prioritization of the subcommittee roles, as well as your interest in the regional boards and regional committees. I've asked and requested that you return your ranking worksheets back to me by December 23rd, so that we can bring those ranking worksheets with recommendations back to council at your first meeting in January. So at that meeting, you can actually formally appoint the subcommittee members. And again, by way of background, our subcommittee structure is required to consist of 2 council members, one of which will serve as the chair, along with your city manager as a sitting member of each of the 5 subcommittees. What we will work to do is, based on the preference rankings by each of the council members, evenly distribute the workload. We also work to try to establish that one of the previous members, continues and maintains their membership on each subcommittee, if possible and if supported by council. And of course, that is just a recommendation to support continuity as the subcommittee membership changes from year to year. So the item tonight is really informational, and we would recommend again that you fill out, individual council members fill out their priority rankings and their recommendations for regional boards, present those and bring those to me. and I will bring those back to council for further consideration. Other items that are related to your recommendations for subcommittee appointments includes date and times for those subcommittee meetings. The regional boards are really set by the regional boards themselves, but the 5 subcommittees, council directs the date and time for those subcommittees. Ultimately, we will bring those back once you've decided on your final appointments to the second meeting in January for final ratification by resolution, which is required for compliance with the Brown Act. So at this time, I'm happy to walk through the 5 subcommittees and or the regional boards, but I think it's an opportunity for council, if there's some general interest, to just have a general discussion at this point, and then prepare those worksheets for priority ranking, and then staff again will bring those back at your next meeting. Mayor, that concludes staff's report. Happy to address any questions you may have about the process.
Thank you, David. With that, it is my great honor to open the floor for the first time this evening to our new Vice Mayor, Marta Cruz. Please lead us off. You're on mute, Marta.
Okay, just trying to continue. Well, I think that it would be important for me to stay with education, and or if Melanie would like to, I suggest Melanie or you, that you have been vice chair of the education school city subcommittee, perhaps to become chair of that. And I would like to ask Councilmember Lance to allow Jason or Melanie to do that, since he's been in the area. And we need to refresh the subcommittee. I did it for 2 years.
Marta, if I may be so bold here, to be vice chair when you ran those meetings last year, the information and the outside resources that you brought to that committee, I would be happy to support you continuing as the chair, and would be delighted to remain your vice chair should the council allow it. But what I don't know is if we're quite there yet. I think we have to return this item regardless. But I really appreciate that open dialogue, and like your point of view there. Any other comments before I allow other council members, Marta?
Well, when it comes to the outside boards, I would like to ask Melanie if she would like to continue with the White River, I'm thinking of Indiana, Russian River Watershed Association. I have been her alternate. I'm very interested in that. And I look forward to have her to continue with the North Bay Division of League of Cities. Okay. Not North Bay, the Redwood Empire.
Redwood Vision. Well, as far as Russian River Watershed Association is concerned, I just wrapping up 2 years as chair, and I've already kind of given fair warning that I'm ready to step off and let the new Wello. Are you guys called fellows? Are you actually called Wello fellows? That would
Fellow.
be
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's awful. Like, sure. And I've already sort of set the stage for that to happen, because I it's no secret I've been contacting folks throughout the county. I plan to go after a smart board seat, and I think that's going to take a lot of my time. So hopefully I'll have folks support for that throughout the county. So I would be happy to have Marta step up. She's took over waste management, which is now zero waste. I was the transition person on the name too, and she's just been doing a great job. So I think, yeah, water and trash actually have a lot of crossover. And I think it's really nice when the same person can be the board member. It's not necessary, but it does help. So I think that she'd do a good job on that board.
Excellent. Thank you, Melanie. Irene, David, are we capturing these comments so that the staff report can be reflected as such next week? It gives the public an opportunity to review and the council an opportunity for a second glance. Again, I don't want to create this notion that we're making decisions before we're supposed to, but I appreciate these notes as they've been captured so far.
Absolutely.
They can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's right.
Again, staff's just asking for council to prepare the ranking worksheets, and that'll help us organize our staff's recommendation for ultimately appointment to subcommittees and regional boards. Ultimately, it's up to council, but to kind of bring organization to the process, because there's again 17 regional appointments and boards, as well as the 5 subcommittees. So there's a lot to consider, and we're not asking you to digest that all this evening, but I appreciate the dialogue, and we'll certainly reflect that in the agenda report.
Thank you, David.
And mine this year, David.
Okay, we lost you.
We lost you. Sorry. You lost me. Sorry. I guess everybody's starting to freeze, but no, I have a tendency to turn my homework in late on this, so I'll try to get
me too. I'm so bad. All right, so let me see here. Mr. Lands, Mr. Walter, oh, please, Vice Mayor Cruz.
I have one more interest that I would like to bring out, and that is that there are 3 positions open in the Agricultural Open Space District Advisory Committee. That is a committee where I think one of us should go for. It's very important for us to continue to protect our open space. We are probably the most rural of Sonoma County, and it's important to be in that. This is something that I don't want to, overwhelm myself, but it would be another area that I would be interested in. And you have to lobby among the council members throughout the county to be able to get appointed to this.
Yeah, if I can just support that. This is a very important board, and we've been very fortunate to have a pretty good configuration of elected officials. But yeah, especially, not only are we, mainly rural and agricultural in the North County, we're really parks poor. I mean, and that's something, we have currently Senator McGuire, formerly, Supervisor McGuire, to thank for really going to bat for Cloverdale to get that River Park money, to get the money for Porterfield Creek. And we really need, it would be really nice if we had some North County representation. So I would urge, I don't have a lot of time I don't have a lot of space on my dance card, but I would really, urge my fellow council members to consider that regional appointment. Just put your name in. If you think
and one of the main reasons why I want to make sure we take these notes, but of course continue it on, is with all due respect, Todd, I want you to have a chance to digest this and go look at when those meetings are, how often the intervals are, and see where you think you can see yourself fitting into. For lack of a better phrase, in Cloverdale right now, I need you to hit the ground running, and so I want to give you the opportunity to do your research and make informed decisions. But yeah, it's going to be kind of we're going to pitch you right in the deep end, because as Melanie mentioned, the advocacy is very serious, and the time constraints are very real. And as Marta and Melanie both have spoken about at length, the need for lobbying for Northern Sonoma County is something you're well aware of as well. And so I want to give you this 2-week or 3-week period, whatever it ends up being, to really review what those intervals look like. So anyhow, I really like where we're headed with this. Any other comments? Gus, I haven't quite heard from you yet, buddy. Anything you want to share?
I have no more words. Yeah, I have no more words for this evening.
Okay, you got it. You got it. All right. Any other comments? It sounds like we have our direction. We need to do our homework by the 23rd. David's been taking notes on our discussion thus far. Todd got his 2-second pep talk. Any other last deliberation before we move forward on this item? Anybody in the public, Irene, raising their hand on this one? They want to recommend an advocate for anything?
No hands are raised, Mayor.
Excellent. Student Liaison, Jennifer, I want you to keep in mind that you are always invited to our subcommittee meetings should the opportunity present itself. I want to extend that invitation to both of our student liaisons as long as I'm not talking out of turn. I think the participation at the subcommittee level really sees how the foundation for some of these issues that make it to council are built. And I continuously find the student liaison's input to be value added. So as much as I can promote your presence, please know you're invited. I cannot invite you enough. Please know you're invited.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I need to tell you that's part of their homework from our initial meeting.
Good.
I do mentor the student liaisons, and they do have a list of homework. And one of that is to meet one-on-one with each of us and ask questions and find out if there are any shared interests of guidance that we can provide. At the same time, they have to go to at least 2 subcommittee meetings, and I ask, and they haven't done so yet. So it's all piling up, but we're gonna make it fun. We're gonna make it fun so that they enjoy the experience of the subcommittee meetings.
That's
Okay?
right. That's right. That sounds like an earned scholarship if I've ever heard one, man. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, don't come to police, finance, admin. Ours are the shortest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just 3 small hours. No big deal.
Okay, so I have a question. Do they get credit by the hour or by the meeting?
Ooh, that is a good question. Because I tell you what, you come.
Choose wisely.
Yeah. All right. For the sake of time and everybody's sanity this evening, any closing comments on item number 13? David, do you mind confirming you have enough direction?
Mayor, I have enough direction. We've captured the comments, and we'll reflect that in the agenda report, and it'll be key just to get the priority rankings back from each of the council members and the mayor and vice mayor. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, David. I appreciate that as always. Moving on to item number 14, Sonoma County Mayors and Councilmembers Association City Selection Committee assignments, Board of Director appointments. David, would you be so kind as to give the opening introduction for this, please?
Absolutely, and then I'll turn it over to our city clerk, Irene Camacho-Werby, to speak to this item. But this is the City Selection Committee assignments come from the Mayor and Councilmembers Association. And there's 3 positions for which letters of interest are due to the city clerk. Currently, the town of Windsor is the designated host city. So council members are encouraged to review those assignments. And with that said, I'll turn it over to our city clerk, Irene, to introduce the 3 positions for which they are soliciting letters of interest.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. So again, this is just an informational report and reminder. A little bit of background. The city of Cloverdale, of course, is a member of the Sonoma County City Selection Committee and the Sonoma County Mayors and Council Members Association, which appoints members to various regional boards and commissions. At the last special meeting of the Mayors and Council Members Association that was held on November 19th, it was announced that various positions required new appointments due to either expired terms or positions no longer held by an elected council member for the coming year. The next meeting of the City Council for January 13th, because the due date for all letters across all the 9 cities is due by December 31st. At that January 13th meeting, the council will have an opportunity to review all letters and recommend to our mayor as the vote and who they should select for the next Sonoma County Mayors and Council Members meeting, which will be scheduled on Zoom on February 11th. The open positions are listed within your staff report, and then a supplemental correspondence also went out via email earlier this week. That concludes my report. If you have any questions.
Does this include the smart board appointment that Melanie was referring to in this section?
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. So and that's why I would want to probably apply and be on SCTA, because it's so there. I think that you go into this, or it's in the handbook. I don't remember where I was reading it, but yeah, there are 3 positions that are available. One of them is a Deb Fudge is going to be applying for, and that's the non-SCTA seat. And I certainly want to see Deb reappointed to that seat. So I would want to be Cloverdale's representative to SCTA so that I can be in the seat that requires me to be a member of SCTA while I'm on SMART. So that's how I'm going to apply for it.
So it almost has a prerequisite that comes along with it, I'm almost hearing.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And we lost our position on the board when
Carol left. Yeah.
Carol left. And Melanie was very close to getting it last time. And we need to really support and lobby to make sure she gets in this time.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing I was going to note
that it's needed in SMART.
Yeah, we're not eligible for the North Bay Division of California, League of California seat. That always comes through, and we're in the Redwood Division. So always comes through in the thing, but I know that letters have already, I think Susan Hollingsworth from Park has already got her ABAG letter in. I know other people are lobbying now, so we'll be adding that to my homework list and start getting that letter out to folks in the region, asking for their support, and hopefully all the support of my council as well.
Yeah, let us know how we can support you, making sure Cloverdale's voice is heard.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, just for some clarification, if I could, we'll be receiving copies of all of the individuals who submit letters seeking these appointments. Then, as I'm sure you know, we bring it back to our dais and we discuss it and we give you direction on how to vote when you go to the city select committee. So
I do recall that. Thank you.
Hopefully we can support Councilmember Bagby in that position. So I know we did last time. So.
And we are probably going to get phone calls from all these candidates, even if you don't know them. So you need to become very familiar with who's who, where, and the most experience in the regional board is Melanie, and I know a few of them, but we will. We need to start doing the homework because we might get a phone call tomorrow. So
caller ID is your friend.
Yeah, no doubt. Todd, any comments on this particular item?
Nothing at all. I'm here to not rock the boat, so I'm waiting to see how it goes, and I'll put in my 2 cents when necessary.
Thank you, sir. Jennifer, any comments on this at all? Anything you want to ask questions about or anything?
Gus has something too, Jason.
Okay.
No, there's nothing.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Walter, please.
Thank you. While we're on the subject of mayors and council members, Mr. Mayor, this Friday at 1 o'clock is the weekly call of all the mayors in Sonoma County, along with a supervisor representative. This particular Friday coming up, it is the past mayor and the current mayor. So I will email you that information on how to hook into that meeting. It's just kind of passing the gavel. We have Teresa, who is a 4-year mayor in Petaluma. We have Dominic, who will be there continuously. So they just want some continuity, and they just want a nice handoff from the current mayor to the new mayor. So I'll get you that information. Thank you.
Yep, I will be there. Thank you. All right, seeing no other comments. Irene, has anybody raised their hand for offering comment in the public on this item?
No hands are raised, Mayor.
All right, and seeing no other comments from my colleagues, I will go ahead and close this item. We'll move on to subcommittee reports. We'll kick it off with finance, admin, and police, please.
Yep, our next mayor, are we done with this meeting yet? Our next meeting is January 5th at 1 p.m. Are there any questions about any of the standing items? And I have an item that I think I'm gonna slip it in here because it's a piece of correspondence that I didn't get forwarded. And it was from a resident who also hikes Porterfield Creek quite a bit. And they were concerned because my experience has actually been pretty good with people being masked up there. But I guess they had some, and it's kind of hit or miss. Most people are masked or they take them off until they see you and then they put them on. They had a different experience on a particular day at a particular time. So I'm gonna suggest that we maybe send it to a subcommittee because they kind of were saying, now, if we're entering into, what happened was that they contacted me right when we were talking about possibly changing the status of Sonoma County, and then Sonoma County didn't get changed. So that was kind of the correspondence was, if we're going to go into a tighter lockdown, we need more signage at the park, or what's going to be stepped up. So I guess my question for you, Mr. Mayor, is do you want us to take this on at police, or maybe city manager can pipe in? The concern was they're not sure that there is quite enough effective signage regarding masks at Porterfield Creek. So should we take it up at police, admin, and finance, or should we send it to public works? Because we do have the regular COVID update on police and admin. So what would the city manager's thoughts maybe be on where that would be appropriate?
Yeah, Mr. Kelly, please.
Sure, it certainly can be referred to subcommittee. Otherwise, understanding that this is really a compliance issue, it would be a function of staff just following up on hearing the comment, and we can address that with additional signage and additional compliance actions to support masking at Porterfield Creek open space.
I think for a while there were the sandwich signs that were up, and I think that those are gone probably because they're just hard to maintain. Wind blows, rain comes down, but maybe we need to have a more, I don't know. I think that the comment was maybe we need to have a more obvious, more permanent sign requirement for usage of the park.
Okay.
So
now, yeah, David, do you want to approach the correspondence that we received from the community member directly, see if staff can have the autonomy to meet those needs on their own without involving, for lack of a better term, bureaucracy, right? You got to wait till the next scheduled meeting and et cetera, et cetera.
Parks, that would be great.
Yeah, so I mean, do you want to just give us an assessment? If you think it needs to move to a subcommittee, David, use your judgment. If staff can have the autonomy to just move the needle on whatever they need, then by all means. Do I have any opposition to that?
And I think that was the nature of the correspondence too, was let's just address this a little bit more clearly.
Okay.
That was it, yeah.
Does that sound okay, David? You feel good about that?
Absolutely, we'll do a report out either back to council or at the subcommittee.
And I'd be happy with that being either in your COVID report at finance and admin or the next council meeting. I'd be happy with that.
Awesome. All right, planning and sustainability, please. I think that was Mary Ann. Gus, I believe you were the alternate. Can I ask for a report out, please?
Yes, nothing to report at this point in time. Our next meeting is supposedly December the 15th. I'm not sure whether we're going to have that or not. As a matter of fact, Irene, correct me if I'm wrong, did we not cancel that?
We did cancel it. It was after the agenda was published.
Okay. So we'll keep you posted once we have somebody else to join me on that committee going forward.
Awesome. Let's move into Public Works. Vice Mayor Cruz, I believe that's yours. You're on mute, Vice Mayor.
We canceled the meeting. We don't have a meeting until until January. There's nothing that's pressing at this moment.
Excellent, thank you. Joint City Fire District, I'll go ahead and take that one. Marianne was the chair. We had a meeting previously where we discussed vegetation management efforts, and we wanted to continue that as a standing item because, well, vegetation management is something that tends to occur all year round these days. Joint City School District, Vice Mayor Cruz.
We will have a meeting in January. The committee decided not to meet because they are so engaged in working on hybrid education in Cloverdale. So, but
sense.
we are in touch, with issues that are happening and so on.
Excellent, thank you, Vice Mayor. Homeless Community Advisory Group, Mr. Walter, would you be so kind?
We have not met yet. We will be meeting hopefully as soon as the 4th District has their next meeting, which I believe Supervisor Gore said would be sometime before the end of the year, but we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and move us on to, oh, please, Vice Mayor.
I need to add that you guys appointed me to the ad hoc on the continuous of care committee to elect a new board, and two of the people that we recommended have been selected, and so the third member of the Northern County is going to be Margaret, the new director of Reach for Home, in addition to Don Schultz and Mr. Sotomayor from Healdsburg. So we are well represented for North County.
That was a really good example of us working together. That is a fantastic outcome. So congratulations to everybody who pushed for that.
And David, do you have any comments on that since you were in that group too?
Vice Mayor Cruz, I don't have any further comments. I think you summarized it well, and it'll be beneficial to see when that board meets with the new membership. And it is great that we have additional representation from Northern Sonoma County. I think that will benefit our area.
I think it's, well, as usual, our city manager is being very conservative in his comments. I think it's a game changer, and not just that we have representation, it's the folks we have as representation. So yeah, that was good. That was a job well done.
True advocates.
Yes.
Actually, that was the Mayor Tom Sweathelm from Santa Rosa that really pushed for that initiative and that change, and yet another example of more regionalization. So
I think, when we brought those concerns to Tom, he really listened.
He did.
And he's not just there, he's not just there filling space on that. I think he has been very frustrated too. And so when he heard us when we said we don't have the advocacy that we need in the North County, and yeah, we owe him a big thank you as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Go ahead and move on to council reports. I know we got Vice Mayor Cruz's and Councilmember Bagby's in writing. However, I know you guys like to do a couple call outs. Anything that you'd like to highlight?
It's all a blur.
Well, for me, I need to say, repeat what Marianne mentioned. We need to make sure that we engage our community in volunteering. These are trying times, and I know many people are scared and they don't want to go out, but as long as you wear your shield, your mask, your gloves, and you keep a distance, you should be able to do volunteer work. Many of our volunteers are burning out. We have weekly food distribution from the Redwood Empire at the Citrus Fair every Monday from 4 to 6. We need to be present and support that effort. This is an opportunity for all of Cloverdale, not just for Latinos. I mean, we initiated because many of the Latino families, yes, are COVID positive, and many have lost jobs, but that is the predicament of very many people in the community. And when I deliver meals on Fridays, it's not just Latinos, people who are ill, people who are homebound, people who don't have transportation, et cetera, et cetera. We have a community in true need. and it just doesn't show. But we need to start talking to our neighbors and find out how can we assist them in making sure they get the food they need on Mondays, or that they get delivery of meals when they are homebound. And at this point, city manager and I are going to be meeting with some elected officials in North County to make sure that the companies that have been hired to address COVID needs do take care of our patients that are isolating here in Cloverdale. COVID-19 is one of the major problems, and it is something that I am definitely addressing.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yeah, and this Friday I get to go with Sonoma Clean Power is doing that's their volunteer day. So we're going to have staff and some of the board members go to Redwood Empire Food Bank and volunteer to take the food that people are donating from their cars, into the bins at Redwood Food Bank. So if that one is going to be a Sonoma Clean Power Day, but if your schedule is just kind of weird, and it's the case with the food distributions here in Cloverdale for me, is that the days that they're on, I'm usually working. Believe it or not, I do work too. But on Fridays, I usually, have a free day. So I'm able to go with Sonoma Clean Power to do their volunteer day. But on their website, the Redwood Food, you can go on there and find just almost any time and day and multiple locations that would work for you and your schedule. So I really urge you to get that information out to your networks, that you can just go on to Redwood Food Bank. It's redwoodfoodbank.org, if I have that right, hopefully, but do a Google search for Redwood Food Bank and get on there, and they have multiple shifts that you can and different days and times that you can volunteer.
Melanie, may I ask right here, sorry to interrupt you, is this a standing resource, something that does not change as far as the website?
Yes. So
can we make sure, if we have not already, that Irene has that and it could live in our newsletter? So anybody who reads the newsletter on any given time, that link will be standing in there. And that way that resource will be consistent.
And we should make sure it's on the chamber website for volunteer.
Absolutely.
Well, because I just know that, sometimes, because it's at weird times, it's like at 10 a.m. or it's at 4 p.m. and it doesn't always work for people, but you can usually go onto their website and find, a Saturday or Sunday to volunteer that will work for you. It's a little more flexible opportunities than we might have here in town. And it's really convenient. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump down to Airport Boulevard. So it's really convenient for Cloverdale folks to get down there.
Excellent, thank you. Go ahead and move on to informational reports. Hearing none. Legislative reports, letters of support or opposition.
No reports, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. City manager, city attorney reports. Haven't heard from Jose yet. You still over there?
I am still here, and I actually have a report, or actually a reminder for you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
If I can. First of all, congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Vice Mayor, and welcome, Councilmember Lyons. Look forward to working with you. Just a reminder for the council. I know there was an email sent out. I believe David sent an email. I'll send another one later on. But just a reminder, social media, Brown Act, some changes in the law, AB 992, effective, it's going to be effective January 1st. So around the corner. With social media, we always look at, well, just like a quorum, is there a quorum of the council communicating in social media, et cetera? That would be a violation. Now the law is actually changing so that if one council member simply responds to a comment by another council member on their social media, so let's say if the mayor, you posted something, a council member went ahead and commented to your post, that by itself would be a violation. No longer are we counting how many people or how many council members are involved in the communication. The conversation has been also, hey, what about if you just hit the like, thumbs up button? That would potentially also be a violation. So what the legislature is doing is just making sure that folks are watching social media a little closer as far as how board members interact with each other and what messaging is out there to prevent inadvertent or communication that's on purpose, communications between council members. So I'll send out an email. I know one has been sent out already. I'll send out another one, just a reminder, January 1st, social media. It's definitely, it's the rules are getting a little stricter.
Okay.
Well,
Jose, may I ask here? Oh, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Cruz. Go ahead, and then I have a question.
Mr. Mayor, but all of us are due, well, you, Jason, Lance, and I are due for our training certification that we have to do now in January at the League of
AB
Cities.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Yeah, and we have to do that one and two others, I think. So.
You're absolutely correct. Jose, if you'd be so kind, for the sake of our conversation today, can you give us just, because I know the answer that comes from an attorney whenever I ask them anything is always the same. It depends. Would you kindly give us 2 real-world examples that might be considered a violation of the Brown Act as of January 1?
Absolutely. So as of January 1, Mayor, and kind of I mentioned it, you on your Facebook page, you post, and it has to be about city business. You post your position regardless, regarding kind of an initiative that's coming up regarding homeless or whatnot. Then we have one of our council members jump onto your page and as a comment on your post that it's seen on there, Mayor, I think this is a great idea. Even if it's something simple like that, or even further, I think it's a great idea. I fully support it. Well, even though an argument would have been made, well, that's just 2 council members, that's a mayor and a council member interacting. Now the law is saying that's clear that that's a violation, even if it's just one member responding to a post.
Now, if I could interject here quickly. Now, let's say one of our rather zealous council members puts every friggin' light they've ever owned on their house, and 3 of us get on there and say, looks awesome, man. What do you think about that?
So it ends up, again, the key is that it has to be related to city business. If it's a personal issue, if it's just social, personal, hey, look at my Christmas tree, whatever it is, look at my house, that's social. That's not city business.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate those clarifications. Any comments on this item before I move on?
Mayor, members of council, if I can, provide a city manager's report.
Actually,
of course.
Gus had a comment.
Oops,
Mr.
am I missing
Mayor.
a hand up? I'm sorry, man. I'm already falling into the same issues.
Thank you, Melanie. Mr. Mayor, if I could please, Marta,
absolutely.
Good point. January, there is some training that's coming due. I'm wondering if our city clerk, Irene, could put out a list of who needs what. Sexual harassment, 1, 2, 3, whatever the training may be. If we could have a list of that, I think that would be most helpful.
Yes, I can do that.
Thanks. And I wonder for any of the tech savvy people out there, and this does not need to be answered right now, but am I allowed to sort who I see right in front of me on this panel of people? I'd love to have, my council members in front of me so I know who's trying to raise their hand at me, but that's another question for another day. I'm going to have to consult Dr. Google and see what they have to say on the subject.
Dr. Irene,
yeah. And then I understand, Mr. Kelly, you want to give a city manager report at this time.
Mayor Turner, Vice Mayor Cruz, members of council, I just wanted to take a moment to, reflect on 2020. It's been quite a tumultuous year, filled with, lots of challenges. And I mean, those challenges, obviously, as council knows, range from, multiple fire events to obviously the COVID-19 pandemic. We've had drought conditions, we've had heat waves, we've had cold snaps. There's been tremendous civil unrest, and then there's been major elections all to boot. Nonetheless, our small committed staff of 42 employees, and along with our, of course, our dedicated council members, we forged ahead, and while we dealt with those emergencies, we continued to move forward and complete, a number of important projects, continued development of important programs serving our community, and certainly continued, mandated and other important activities. So normally this time of year, we have an employee recognition party to recognize, all the contributions of our employees and bring together staff and council to really celebrate and recognize all the work that we've completed. I just wanted to take an opportunity just real quick, just to, recap that, despite all the challenges that we've been engaged in and the time commitments responding thereto, we did make progress on implementing the council's work plan that you approved during the budget process. Some key projects that we were able to undertake. I think, early in the year, we started off with the after action review to discuss the impacts of the Kincaid fire. And of course, that developed into the Resilient Cloverdale initiative, which we were able to really enable a number of resiliency measures. And that's reflected in our work plan. We've taken a number of actions to improve our resiliency. Our police chiefs really helped extend backup generator power to City Hall. The council approved a self-generation incentive program funding to install backup energy storage system at the wastewater treatment plant. On the financial side, council supported undertaking a survey of the community, and which resulted in the voters of Cloverdale approving the extension of the utility user tax, which is a tremendous source of revenue needed to continue support for our police department in particular, but also our streets and parks. We've implemented some new programs to really enhance communication from City Hall, thanks to our city clerk, who's done a tremendous job at accessing and utilizing technology to ensure that these meetings, these Zoom meetings, run as smoothly as they do, and instituting a policy with electronic, facilitating and enabling electronic or digital signatures so we can continue to work virtually, all the while, continuing to serve as our local elections official, and facilitating a local elections, which resulted in a new council member joining us. The list goes on. We completed some really long-standing public works project. What comes to mind is our Safe Routes School Phase 2 project, which was something that had started over 5 years ago. We were able to complete that project and bring those important improvements, pedestrian improvements, to our community. A really significant, almost $1 million improvement at our airport with a complete repaving of the taxiway. We've completed a number of really critical infrastructure projects, both for water and wastewater, that will continue to support critical infrastructure needs in our community. We've also made some significant financial decisions, and particularly one that comes to mind is the refunding of the 2015 successor agency bonds that will generate savings not only for the city, but our partners in the way of the fire district and the school district. So I prepared a list, and I've shared it with Zoe at the Cloverdale Reveille. I think it's a pretty comprehensive list. Maybe doesn't cover everything that we were able to complete over the calendar year, but I just wanted to take a pause and really recognize the hard work and the leadership of the council, and then really recognize staff for during these difficult and challenging times. It's COVID has presented not only professional challenges but personal challenges in all of our lives, but we've continued to work hard and move the work plan of the council forward, and then the work plan of this community. So I just wanted to share that with the council and say thank you to the council, but also thank you to staff and our senior managers that are on the call tonight, and for all the efforts and the work that they've done to make progress on the list of projects. Importantly, as we close out 2020, really look forward to a great new year in 2021. We'll be bringing back a discussion on the work plan and revisit it. And I know our staff is committed and will be working hard to continue to make progress on addressing the projects and the needs of our community. So that's the end of my report, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to recognize all the hard work from council and staff that's been undertaken over the last year.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. You know, before I open it up to the council members, which is one of the perks that comes with this role, is I get to speak when I want to, apparently. But, you know, I really also want to call to light your ability to recruit over the last 12 to 18 months and how it set you up for success moving into 2020. And while I know it goes against your comfort zone and your nature to pat yourself on the back, allow me to wholeheartedly pat you on the back for you. You have recruited a tremendous team, and the progress that you've made with our city, I think, goes way beyond what you can fit into a PowerPoint presentation or a city manager report. So from my sincerest, in all sincereness that I can create, thank you. Council members, any other comments? And I'm going to scroll through the pictures here so I can see. No one is waving at me. Okay. Irene, any members from the public like to comment on this particular item? Maybe they heard something they have questions over.
No hands are raised, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Irene. I do appreciate it. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is a status update on the current emergency. And Mr. Kelly, I believe you typically lead this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of council. Just a quick overview of where we stand relative to COVID-19. As most of you know, the governor implemented a regional stay-at-home order. Currently, Sonoma County is not under the increased restrictions that were called for under that regional stay-at-home order, though 5 entities within the Bay Area region did opt in early, largely because of the concern about the ICU bed availability. Currently, the ICU bed availability as of today is at 20.9%, which is almost 5% lower than last week. Unfortunately, that's not good news. The target for moving into increased restrictions under the new regional stay-at-home order is 15%. So I'm hoping that we can stay above that, but it is forecast that the Bay Area region may hit that target sometime in mid to late December. Hopefully that's not the case, because it will require additional restrictions, particularly in terms of our business community. The signs currently are indicating that the number of case rate is increasing. This week, the new daily cases per 100,000 population is 17.9, which is roughly doubling of what it was last week of 8.8. On the positive side, the testing positivity rate is, well, I shouldn't say it's positive. Is 5.7% compared to 3.3% last week, though we are the numbers of testing that is occurring in Sonoma County is going up quite a bit. So we'll continue to monitor our where we stand in the under these new restrictions under the regional stay-at-home order, and we'll definitely communicate that out to the community if we start to hit those increased restrictions. So that's a brief update on the COVID-19 pandemic and relative stance on the regional stay-at-home order.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Before I ask any questions, council members, any questions? Scrolling through here. If you want to just speak up as well, that's also very helpful. Not seeing anybody. Okay.
I just want to make sure that we continue to work on the pop-up testing throughout Cloverdale and at the plaza. It has worked very well. There are a couple of rough edges here and there, but they're being worked out. And I will be meeting with Kura tomorrow to discuss some of the things that haven't been done in Cloverdale. So I'll report on that later.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cruz. Police Chief Ferguson, can I put you on the spot for just a second?
Of course.
How's the police department holding up? They have a lot of in-person contact that they cannot avoid due to the nature of their job. How we doing?
We're doing good. You know, I will say that we've had a little bit of spike in criminal activity lately. I can't really, you know, pinpoint what exactly is the nature behind it, but it's definitely picked up. We are staying busy, but we certainly, you know, anticipate if this closure does come or we tighten things up, there may be some more significant calls. I will tell you, to date, since the hotline was created and we went to civil enforcement, we've handled a total of 26 calls relative to that we've handled. The majority of those were face masking, social distancing type issues. I think that's a fairly low number considering, so I think we're doing really good on that regard.
Were those calls duplicate, Chief?
I'd have to go back and look at those independent of that. I can tell you that the last two we got within the last, I think since August 26th, were duplicate by the same individual. So there is a likelihood that is the case.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Police Chief. I appreciate you letting me put you on the spot. Any other questions regarding to the COVID-19 pandemic or the report that we heard from Mr. Kelly? Feel free to speak up as I swipe through these pictures here. Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to council direction on future agenda items. There's one thing I've heard reverberate back to me since our last meeting is, as a matter of fact, current council member was not at the time, Lands brought up a pathway forward to address some city or some school-owned property. And there was direction to have an email sent, and that email would be forwarded either to a subcommittee or back to full council. My thoughts right now is, let's just kind of have an open and transparent discussion, not, really prepare a big city report or try and fill in any variables, but just kind of let us have a discussion on that. How does council feel about letting us kind of bring that back and have the public weigh in on it and just kind of bring it to light a little bit?
Could you give us a little more clarity on which property you're talking about?
So I believe this is the property that was purchased through bonding on the south end of town near Bumgardner Ranch.
Well, of course, discussion is always important. I'm just not sure what we're going to be accomplishing by having the discussion.
Yeah, I guess if is anything changing? Is the status on anything changing?
I'm led to believe there's more options that are available, but I'm hearing things a lot right now that are just kind of, we heard him talk about it, and when's the dog park going to go in? We heard him talk about it. Can we put a skate park here? We heard him talk about it. Are we going to have more fields there? And so I just thought it might be an opportunity for us to not really assign any subsequent action per se, but just have a discussion and see what the council's appetite is, to see if the public chooses to come out and voice any ideas, opposition or otherwise. I'm just fearful that it won't have the best optics if we kind of don't do anything, because that wasn't necessarily what was brought up at the last meeting. So again, I just look for support to see if we want to bring that back as a discussion item.
Well, I'm of the opinion if nothing's changed, there's really nothing to discuss. I think the ball is in the school district's court. I think they have to come forward and say, this is what we'd like to do with our property. How can we partner with you to do that? I mean, for us to sit and pontificate over what we could utilize that property for, unless we have the buy-in from the school board, it's quite frankly a waste of time. So.
Mayor Turner, do you mind if I speak up real quick and kind of just comment on it? I know it's a different hat that I'm wearing now compared to last month. However, when I did bring it, it was a changed idea that the school board had to bring and present it to the city council, and different ideas that would solve a lot of the city's problems, and that's what I had presented. I didn't want to speak to it right now and was letting Mayor Turner handle it as he was doing very well. However, there was a lot that I brought forward that would benefit the city. And that's how the school was looking at it. The school board is very willing to work with the city, is begging to work with the city for providing a dog park working towards a skate park and helping with that, and work on many other things that this city has been begging for over a decade. So I think it has changed.
Mr. Mayor, an agendized item, and I think we need to limit the amount of discussion on it.
Yeah, so again, I'm asking my colleagues if there's an appetite to agendize this as a discussion. Right now, I'm hearing mixed results, so I'm kind of for a tiebreaker here.
Something that we need to take action on.
I'm sorry, Melanie, I talked over you a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I only have an appetite to put something on the agenda that we need to take action on.
Okey-dokey.
And I don't think we've hit that bar yet.
Okay. Any other comments on direction for future agenda items, anything of that nature? Please feel free to speak up. I'm having a hard time scrolling through pictures.
Mr. Mayor, there's going to be a presentation by 10,000 Degrees, which is a scholarship program that originally has been funded by a Cloverdale person. And so we can all know more about it, and we can also see the testimony of students who are from Cloverdale and who have been benefiting, and at the same time recruit new students into this program. It is something that we want to bring to the council, and we also are working to see if there could be a workshop at the school, but we need to work with the superintendent and the subcommittee to make sure that that can get agendized on their part. But for us, I think David knows that it was scheduled, but they had to cancel, and they will be doing that in January.
We did have it scheduled. You're right, Councilmember Cruz, and they canceled. And the caveat was on an agenda that was not very heavy. So you know, that's the way we kind of left it with staff. So I just have one thing. If you're done, Councilmember Cruz.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Vice Mayor Cruz. The Vice Mayor Turner, thank you. You know, as the outgoing mayor, and I skipped over number 12, I didn't want to have to sit there and listen to you guys lie and say what a good job I've done. But I do want to thank staff. First of all, I want to thank Vice Mayor Turner for stepping in for me. A big thanks to Councilmember Bagby. She's always been my crutch. She talks a lot better than I do, and she helps me take my foot out of my mouth. So Melanie, thank you for that. Irene, thank you. David, you know, you guys are just great. You do a wonderful job, and kudos to senior staff. I really appreciate all the help you've given me when I was mayor. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. Those were kind words. Appreciate it.
And we will be talking to you because we both are rookies. So we will need some advice.
Yes.
You'll do fine. You both will do fine. So.
All right. Any other council direction on future items? Otherwise, I'm putting this one to bed. Seeing none. All right, you guys. City staff, thanks.
My only question, Jason, is red or white at this point?
Is red or white? I get you. Either way, it'll be plentiful, though, right?
That's right. Congratulations to both you and Marta. I hadn't had a chance to say that yet. So yeah, congratulations. I know you'll both do a great job, and you'll pull together and work together and make us proud.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Vice Mayor Cruz, congratulations on your appointment as Vice Mayor. City staff, thank you again for a tremendous report and making it look as though I know what I'm talking about all the time. I appreciate you as always. Irene, you are a tremendous support. Police Chief Ferguson, thank you for allowing me to put you on the spot. And with all that, this meeting is adjourned. I will see y'all on January 13th, 2021 at 5 p.m. for closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
It won't be a Friday.
Good evening.
Have a good night.
Yeah.